Aston Villa are one signing away from a historic season. We all expected Unai Emery and Monchi, the revolution that they would be bringing to Aston Villa in the Premier League would make some waves across Europe. They've been very dominant in the Europa Conference League, and I think anyone who's paid attention to Aston Villa can definitely imagine they're going to go far in that tournament. But I don't think anyone had them sitting in 5th position at this point in the season, with having to juggle midweek games in Europe and battle domestically with a squad that, has been quite settled for a number of seasons, but with some key additions that were quite fresh into the door. I don't think many had Aston Villa being as consistent domestically, as free scoring, as regularly free scoring as they have been as well. They've been a joy to watch. But for me, it's been the tactical nous, it's been the football chess that Aston Villa play, and this kind of gung-ho football that you do see Unai Emery unleashing from time to time in the team. So in the video today, I want to have a look at exactly what was impressing me about Aston Villa so far this year, why I think they're going to go on, not only win a cup this year, let's see what happens with the FA Cup, but I think they're on for top 4 if they can get one more signing in the door at any point in the video today. If you laugh, you learn, you like something, or whatever it might be, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers, and we cannot do that without your support. I'll be featuring who I think Aston Villa should be bringing in, but I want to hear from you in the comment section. If you were to bring one player into this Aston Villa squad to cement them in top 4, who would it be? And let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, I really enjoyed watching Aston Villa in the transfer market throughout the summer. I thought some of the signings they made were super clever, bringing in guys like Moussa Diaby, Yuri Tielemans, the Kolo Zaniolo. I just felt like they just gave a real level up to the overall quality of the squad. I was a wee bit unsure about how they would do defensively as the fixtures rolled on, particularly with the kind of 4-4-2 formation that Unai Emery started the season with. But the way Aston Villa took apart Fulham at the weekend, I was mad impressed with, because the formation that they played out was old school Leipzig football, playing a box midfield with high-flying fullbacks to give you all the width that you need in attack, and having forwards that can go and press the defence. It was a real joy to see this kind of happen in the Premier League, because a lot of managers have come into the Premier League and tried to play the Red Bull kind of, all-out press, all-action football, kind of mantra playing style, and it's not really worked out. So it was really great to see this, like, for Aston Villa, deploying it as deliberately as this in a game against Fulham, who are definitely no slouches either, and getting a comprehensive victory. Tielemans got a lot of the plaudits for this game, because in this position here, you do have all the free space out on this left-hand side to find yourself, get on the ball and try and play killer passes, take shots from the edge of the box, or, play some interlinks and get into the box as another attacker itself. And because he's desperate to get into the team, and guys like that, when they're super motivated, they run a bit harder, they run a bit faster, their shots are a bit more powerful. It was clear to see you got a lot out of him. But for me, McGinn, Camara and Douglas Luiz, for me, have been the real bedrock of this midfield and how versatile they've been. McGinn can either sit in on his right midfield side, left midfield side, or in this kind of pocket that we've seen at the weekend here. And with this kind of core midfield three, it's allowed Aston Villa to be wildly versatile against any opponent. Now, sometimes the formation is displayed ever so slightly differently just because of the Opta feeds and the heat maps and that kind of thing, but it's essentially the same formation, as you can see. This time McGinn's on the left with Leon Bailey on the right against AZ in Europe. The week before, McGinn's on the right with Zaniolo on the left in the league for 2 matches in a row, and then back to Europe again for a wee bit of rotation. Tielemans actually coming in here. And how good is this? The guys at Quinn Bet have enhanced their UK welcome offer, where you can now get a free bet up to £35. It's for new customers that sign up only. You can check out the full terms and conditions on the website, quinbet.com, or by clicking on the link that's in the description of the video. By clicking on that link in the description and signing up to create your account, you support all the content here at Quinny3001, so I thank you in advance if you do so. It looks really impressive to me, but it is 18 plus, and remember folks, always gamble responsibly. And then looking even here, the derby match away to Wolves, where they've played which looks like a very, very defensive formation. It was a 1-1 draw in the end. It wasn't an exciting match. I did watch it, to be honest with you. But a shape like this, although it's very defensive, it's basically the same team. And to have that versatility to be much more defensive and maybe rely on a breakaway, a transition, being the away team in a derby match, it's a very specific dynamic that goes into that. But very quickly, just the way play goes in transition, this team can very easily turn into like a 3-4-3 in attack, maybe a 3-5-2, depending on, McGinn does roam to where the ball is. He does magnet over. As maybe a bit more of a 3-5-2 actually. But this Aston Villa team has got so many different cuts to it. It can be super defensive in that kind of idea, but still actually be quite attacking in the match itself. Or they can play Fulham and play a much more of a, a Leipzig box midfield, flying wing backs, all out forward pressing forward line supported with a midfield. Alongside this lopsided 4-4-2 when either McGinn's right mid or left mid, and depending if it's Tielemans or Bailey or Zaniolo, whatever else is going on, they can really exploit deliberately the weak side of the team that they're playing against, and they can really just focus and double up in the areas that they want to. And they're so tactically astute, and a lot of them, particularly the midfield players, have played in a variety of roles and positions with one another, that their chemistry, their synergy, everything that's going on with them when you watch Villa, they are slick. And that's one of the things that I've been so excited to watch about Emery, about Monchi at Aston Villa in the Premier League. Because normally these guys, when they've been at, Roma, Seville, Moscow, Valencia, Villarreal, wherever they've been in their careers, they've been a part of the food chain. Now, Aston Villa are still a part of the food chain, but being in the Premier League puts you way above a lot of other clubs in the European football food chain for getting guys like Moussa Diaby, Yuri Tielemans, holding on to Douglas Luiz for as long as you have, bringing in Bouba Kamara, and then also in the summer going out and getting guys like Zaniolo as well. High marquee purchases that normally would be exclusive to the Champions League teams around European football in Spain, Germany, Italy, England. But Aston Villa, yeah, they've got the money, but they've also clearly got a project. So the players, when they come in, they know that there's a play style, there's clear tactics there, and the team is moving forward. And Unai Emery and Monchi and everyone else that I really admire watching in the Premier League, when you see them outside the Premier League, they don't have the biggest budget. They're always at the mercy of their player wanting to move to the Premier League one day. Whereas when you're at Aston Villa and you're trying to create something, I just feel that they've got everything at their disposal now. Unai Emery, Monchi, these guys, and on top of the foundation squad that they've inherited at Aston Villa, they've done exceptionally well to build upon it and really level it up. I don't think anyone's seen them being fifth. But like I mentioned in the intro to the video, for as impressed as I am with the squad, the whole squad, the tactical shape, how well they've done so far, they're sitting in fifth. I think they're really, really, really good value for money to finish fourth, as well as bring home a trophy. Probably the Conference League. They'll still get the FA Cup to run next year, so let's see how it shakes out. But Unai Emery's a real good cup manager. I could see him doing that. But they're one signing away. The main thing that's holding Aston Villa back is Ollie Watkins. Now, it's not Ollie Watkins that's holding them back. He's their only true out-and-out goal-scoring machine. And yeah, I don't think you want... it's a funny problem to have, because when you've got a guy that's so amazing, you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to take any minutes away from him. He's a guy that plays significant minutes in every match. This is his form so far this season. He has a 90-minute, 86-minute, 90 minutes, a 45 and a 29 minutes here in Europe against Minnows, which is right, whatever. 73 against Liverpool, tactical change in the match. Give guy minutes when you're losing, whatever, But otherwise, he is a 90-minute striker. He plays every minute of every game where Aston Villa are winning, are dominating the game, are looking to go on and do something. And as soon as, you just need to look at Newcastle, as soon as you've got that happen to you, he gets a yellow card, he gets a wee, he pulls a muscle or something, he misses a match, maybe something quite innocuous. It does happen from time to time, but these things can domino effect sometimes and maybe change some form. I just feel that there's such a reliance, but it's not a reliance, but it's just like, if Watkins gets injured or if something happens to him, a portion of Aston Villa's goals will dry up. They've been scoring for fun. So many different goal scorers in the squad. I don't think he is everything and all things to them. Like we've seen some other teams in the Premier League be super reliant on their key striker. Like think about Everton when they had Lukaku, or quite famously, showing my age, Andy Johnson at Crystal Palace, where there's just one guy at the team that gets all the goals for them. Zaha at Palace, but a bit more recently. But you do need someone that, if it was to miss 3 or 4 matches, you've got a guy that can come in and score 5 goals. You've got a guy that can come in and at least get 2 or 3 goals quite comfortably in the same position, in the same role in the team, that still maximises the rest of the squad has going. Now, I know Big John Duran's in, and I know he's been getting minutes, and it's clear to see that Emery is still trying to figure out what is option B if there is no Watkins. Does he play Duran with Zaniolo? Does he play Zaniolo with Diaby? There's a few things that have been tried. A few of them are really interesting, and a few of them have worked in some of the situations that they've been used in, mainly in Europe against lesser opposition, you have to say. But for me, they have to go out in January and they have to get someone that can give Watkins, maybe make him an 80-minute player. You actually look after him a bit more, because as the season goes on, FA Cup still to happen, you've got Conference League and you've got the Premier League. You are going to need a guy that can actually start a game and do that job. And I know they've been using the midfield and have cited some of the things they've done, obviously, but they need one more player, and we're going to tell you who they should be getting. Now, there's 3 candidates I've got here, kind of 4. It depends on, or maybe 5. It depends on, depends on your appetite. It depends on your budget. Aston Villa really want to push the boat out and try and cement not top 5 or top 6, but top 4, so that's what I'm struggling to just work out. What is the mood inside Villa? Are they really happy? Do they want to just keep on as they're at now, or do they want to strengthen from a position of strength, kick on in that sense? If they were going to be super ambitious, I'll just say this first and foremost, the number 1 guy they should go out and sign is Luis Openda at RB Leipzig, especially after watching Villa at the weekend. If you want a guy that can do everything that Watkins is doing and maybe do it better, I'm not saying he would, I'm not saying he is, but he gives you that. He could maybe do it better. And does that then give you a better Watkins? Because that's part of the psychology that goes into these transfers, of course. I know he's just recently moved to Leipzig, but they are a selling club. And, he's not a spring chicken. And, Aston Villa have integrated players from the Bundesliga very successfully already. So could it be a January or summer transfer? I'm not so sure if it's maybe easier in the summer, but Leipzig having a pretty, we're having a good fight on all fronts this year. Openda's been the main man for them. So if they wanted to go and spend like 60 mil, 70 mil, something like that in January, Luis Openda is a guaranteed hit for me in this team. And again, I'll just say the Geordies might be angry with me on this one, right? Because I think they're linked to him. But if you were going to throw all the money at it, let's make sure we get top 4. Who is the best guy we should maybe go and get at the moment? I only bring his name up because he has got some transfer links mainly to Newcastle. And if he's on the market, you guys should be going and getting him. And it's Julian Brandt. Because if we look at this wonky 4-4-2 shape that Unai Emery is playing, I would love to see Julian Brandt do that job that you've seen Tielemans do, that we've seen McGinn do when he's been on the left-hand side. You put McGinn on the right here, you've got Cash and Digne to do the thing. Honestly, Brandt is so good, and I think he would just sit into this team brilliantly. He would cost you an absolute fortune. I don't think you're going to go get him, but I just had to mention it. But there's 2 strikers out there. I'd love Aston Villa to go and get one of them because they're both out of contract in the summer, and I both think tactically and transfer market-wise, they're right up Aston Villa's alleyway, and, kind of Moneyball-wise, they're definitely going to give you exactly what you're after. The first one, which is probably a bit more glamorous, is Nico Williams, or Williams Jr., over at Athletic Club, or Athletic Bilbao, depending on, how you want to think of them. He's out of contract. He's in the Spain team. He's a fast, free-flowing, attacking forward. Very similar to Watkins, maybe a wee bit taller in stature, maybe not quite as clinical a finisher, but definitely a guy that would come to Aston Villa in the January transfer window, definitely a guy that would come to Aston Villa and play understudy to Watkins and push him, and definitely a guy that, hey, if you needed to take Watkins out of the team for Conference League, or if you wanted to rotate, whatever it might be, this guy would do just a similar job, just the same kind of job. No 2 ways about it for me. With him being out of contract in the summer, getting him on a good transfer fee feels like, and again, Monchi, Emery, they know La Liga very well. I'm sure they'll be aware of this guy's situation. I think this is a transfer that could happen if they've also ID'd him as a guy that would fit into the squad with their extra layer of knowledge that they have over me, of course. And I don't bring this one up because of Tielemans, right? And maybe there's a wee bit of that in the back of my mind, right? But for anyone that's been on my channel for a while, you'll maybe know this already, but I'm firmly in the camp of Iheanacho is greater than Rashford. And for that simple fact, if you want a super sub goal-scoring forward in the Premier League, I don't think there's many better than Iheanacho. He's still doing that job in the Championship, and he's still doing it kind of okay. You might raise your eyebrows at me because he's not getting in the team ahead of Jamie Vardy at Leicester, which I get. Okay, fair enough. But he'll definitely sit on the bench. He'll definitely come off the bench and get goals. He's done that in the Premier League, and he's out of contract in the summer as well. So you'd be very easy to get him in the January transfer window on a very nominal fee. And again, similar to Tielemans, with that bit between the teeth, you get a wee bit more out of some of these guys in the right situation if they're a part of a team that's looking to go and win a trophy, looking to go and get top 4 in the Premier League. It's amazing the extra level that you get out of players that are really bought in and are on the cusp of achieving something amazing. So I think Nico Williams is probably the man to go and get, but a wee clever wee Moneyball shout, I think Iheanacho would be one to look at. And if you're going to go and splash the cash, you're looking at Openda, you're looking at Brandt. And if you wanted to roll all of them into one, go and get one guy, spend a lot of money, clearly levels up the team, is available in January, and yada yada, all the rest of it, I would probably try and push the boat out and go and sign Domenico Berardi. Now, Berardi gives you, for me, the ultimate versatility because he can play virtually anywhere on this side of the pitch here. I would make him a handy stand-in for Watkins also if Watkins did have to step out. So you can then keep this mantra that you've got in the squad of reusing players in different positions and really sticking to a core squad of 15, 16 guys that influence every match. He could come into that stable of people quite easily. I know Ramsey's injured and maybe some of these are in the comment sections about Ramsey. I know about Ramsey too. But Berardi could play up front instead of Watkins. He could play next to Watkins instead of Diaby. He could play out here very creatively in a lot of different positions. And he's a real set-piece demon. And I know there's a lot of good guys that like to take corners and free kicks and stuff like that at Aston Villa, don't get me wrong, but this guy's, you know, pretty crisp. And, you know, the thing about Berardi is he plays for Sassuolo. They're not in Europe, obviously. He's an AC Milan fan, and he's kind of came out and he's kind of half known that he's not going to play. He says anyway, he's said for ages he won't play for like the Juves and Inters, these types of teams. So could you bring him in January, go and win the Conference League, go and get top 4, make him the real talisman of the squad, alongside Watkins, Diaby, McGinn, some of these other key players that we've seen so far this season, and really kick on? He would cost an absolute arm and a leg, but I think he is a real fantastic nexus of like every other target that we've discussed so far in the video. I'm really excited to see the comment section on this one, guys. Let me know what you think. Are Aston Villa a good value to pick up a trophy and keep pushing for that top 4? Are they more than one signing away, in your opinion? Let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. On screen and now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and retweet, and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.